Okay, so looking at modes from the perspective of a guitar player. The first thing we got to talk about is our major scale. Now, the easiest major scale to talk about is the C major scale because it has no sharps and no flats. It's all the white keys on the piano. But because we're guitar players, we're going to use the G major scale. It only has one black key, F sharp, right? G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. And so the way we think about the major scale, it's got 7 notes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. You can also think of it using solfege. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So we look at that major scale, G major scale, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Now let's harmonize the scale. So the 1 chord in the key of G major is the G major chord. The 2 chord is A minor. The 3 chord is B minor. The 4 chord is C major. The 5 chord is D dominant 7. It's got a major third but a flat 7. The 6 chord is the relative minor, that's E minor. The 7 chord is F sharp minor 7 flat 5. Or you could think about it as F sharp half diminished. And then back up to the G major, back to the 1 chord. So the way the major scale is set up intervallically, it goes like this. You start with the root note, G. Then you go up a whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Right? And so here's why we care. In Western music, your diatonic scales have 7 notes, and you're only dealing with 2 intervals, either a whole step or a half step. Those are the only intervals that you deal with when you're moving in a linear way up from one scale degree to the next. So it goes root, whole, half, whole, half. So that first scale, when you're in the key of G major, the 1 chord is G major, and the scale is the G major scale. But what is the scale that's associated with the 2 chord, the A minor chord, when we're in the key of G major? It is the mode A Dorian. So the modes go like this. The first one that's associated with the 1 chord when you're harmonizing a major scale, the first mode is Ionian, and it's the familiar major scale that you know, the one we just talked about. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. That's Ionian. In this case, I'm playing G Ionian. Now, A Dorian, which is the second mode, A Dorian, which is the second mode in the key of G major, is this. A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A. It's the same notes as the G major scale, same notes as the G Ionian mode, just you start on 2 and you end on 2 instead. So where G major, G Ionian, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. A Dorian is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2. So you can guess where this is going. The 3 chord, B minor, the 3rd mode, in this case B Phrygian, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3. And it goes that way all the way up. You get to the 4 chord, C major, which is associated with the mode C Lydian. It goes 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's one way that you can think of the modes, is just playing the major scale, starting on different notes and stopping on different notes. And then back up. Right? Those are the modes. You got Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, which is also known as the relative minor or just the natural minor scale, Locrian, and then back to Ionian, back to the major scale. So that's the first way that guitar players can think about modes. Now here's the second way, and it's really important to understand this. There's a difference in the tonality of each mode. Just like there's a difference in the tonality of all of the chords when we harmonize the scale. The tonality of the 1 chord is major, 2 is minor, 3 is minor, 4 is major, 5 dominant, 6 minor, 7 half diminished, and then back to that 1, major. So the modes are that way too. And here's a good way of thinking about the modes. Think about how a mode is different from Ionian. Here's what I mean. Ionian, you have a 1, a natural 2, a major 3, a 4, a dominant or a natural 5, a major 6, a major 7, and back to the 1. But Dorian, how is Dorian different from Ionian? What if I looked at the difference between G Ionian and G Dorian, right? Because if we were staying in the key of G, Dorian should be A. But if I go to the key of F, then my Dorian mode, my 2 mode, is G Dorian. So what's the difference? With the major scale, with the Ionian mode, right, you got the 1, 2, major 3rd, 4, 5, major 6, major 7. But with Dorian, it goes 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 1. So there's some differences there. And those differences give you a different tonality. They give you a different feel, right? You're going to evoke different musical feelings playing a Dorian mode, and you would use it in a different application than you would the major scale. So the Phrygian mode is really interesting. They call it the Spanish mode. Let's do B Phrygian, which is in the key of G major. Right? Now, normally it'd be associated with a minor chord. But what makes Phrygian different from Ionian, from the major scale, is it's got a flat 2, a flat 3, the 4 is fine, the 5 is fine, the 6 is flat, the 7 is flat, and then back to the 1 again. Now what makes Lydian unique, the 4th mode, in the key of G, the 4th mode is going to be C Lydian. It's associated with the C major scale, and it looks like this. C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C. So watch this. You get that tritone between the root of the scale, C, and the 4th, which is sharp. That's the only difference between Lydian and Ionian, between the 4th mode and the major scale, is that 4th degree is sharp. Wait. It gives it this dreamy feel. When you hear the Lydian mode invoked, it always has this dreamy feel because of that tritone that exists. You get, and that's because it almost sounds like you're going into a whole tone scale. You play whole, whole, whole. If you kept going whole, 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 now you're really dreamy. You're into the whole tone scale, right? But that's the Lydian mode, and what makes it unique is it has a sharp 4. Otherwise, it's identical to Ionian. It's identical to the major scale. Now let's get to Mixolydian, the 5th degree, the 5th mode in the harmonization of a major scale. This is the one that's associated with the dominant 7 chord, which is funky, right? It's bluesy because it's got what? It's got a flat 7. Other than the flat 7, it's identical to the major scale. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 1. But the 3 is major, the 2 is major, the 6 is major. It's similar to the Ionian mode, to the major scale, just with that exception of the flat 7. And that flat 7 makes it bluesy, it makes it funky. Right? That's your funky, bluesy mode. Then you get to the natural minor, the 6th degree. It's known as the Aeolian mode. It's got a flat 3, 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, 1. So that's E minor. Nothing could be more familiar to guitar players than the E minor chord or the E minor scale. And the difference between the minor and the major, they call it the natural minor, they call it the relative minor, they call it Aeolian. The difference is a flat 3, a flat 6, a flat 7. So it's very close to Dorian, because remember, Dorian also has a flat 3 and a flat 7. But what makes Dorian different is it's got a natural 6. And that natural 6 brings blues, it brings funk. Watch what it does. So here's a natural minor with the flat 6. Now here it is Dorian with a natural 6. E Dorian. That natural 6 makes all the difference in the tonality of the scale. You still have a minor scale. It's still associated with a minor chord, but you got that natural 6, makes things a little bit more funky. It relates to the Mixolydian mode, which also has a flat 7, but a natural 6. So that's Aeolian, natural minor, relative minor. In the key of G major, it's the 6th degree, it's E minor, E Aeolian. Right? Then you get to the weird one. The 7th mode is Locrian. And it's so weird, and you don't see it in Western popular music. You don't see it in the blues, you don't see it in rock, you don't see it in worship music. Nobody's using a half diminished chord, and nobody's using the Locrian mode. It's a very weird mode. So here's how the Locrian mode is different from the Ionian mode, from the traditional major scale. In this case, we're in the key G, so our 7th degree is F sharp. So F sharp Locrian, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. It's close to Phrygian, right? Because it's got a flat 2. Phrygian and Locrian are the only 2 modes that have a flat 2. And that flat 2 is very Middle Eastern sounding. It's very Spanish sounding. Right? And then it's got a flat 4. 1, flat 2, flat 3. I'm sorry, it's got a flat 5, not a flat 4. So it goes 1, flat 2, flat 3, 4, flat 5. It's got that flat 5, which, if you think about the Lydian mode that we talked about earlier, the dreamy one that in the key of G is associated with the 4 chord, the C major. That has a sharp 4, right? Well, what's the difference between a sharp 4 and a flat 5? Nothing, it's the same thing. But if you go to the Lydian mode, you've got 1, flat 2, flat 3, 4, flat 5. There's that tritone again that gets dreamy. It's dissonant. And for that reason, it doesn't find a lot of applications in Western popular music. You see it all the time in Eastern and Middle Eastern music. You see it used in jazz. You see it used in different kinds of global music. Sometimes in metal, they'll use it. But the mode goes like this. 1, flat 2, flat 3, 4, flat 5, flat 6, flat 7, 1. It's got all kinds of flat scale degrees in it, and it's just a bizarre sound. And listen to this. And the chord that it's associated with is weird too. A minor 7 flat 5 chord. So F sharp minor 7 flat 5. Or you could play it here. It would be, wait, F sharp minor 7 flat 5. That's not it. Here. There it is. It's got a flat 7, a flat 3. The reason that it's not fully diminished, that it's half diminished, is because it doesn't have a double flat 7. Wait, that's not it. I used to know these chords. It's been a while. Huh. So this is fully diminished, right? And that's got the flat 6 degree in it, the double flat 7. But if you just have it be a normal single flat 7, that's what makes it half diminished. And it's a bizarre mode, and you don't see it used very often. It's called Locrian. It's the 7th degree, and it differs more than any other mode from Ionian. It's got the most changes from the natural major.